The soul star Heather Small, who 30 years after releasing this hit, is now putting on the closest thing to One Night in Heaven.
Yes, on February the 16th, the voice of the M People will be performing inside stunning Chester Cathedral, where audiences will be treated to some of the classics. I'm delighted to say that Heather joins us now. Good morning.
Morning.
It's so lovely to see you.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in to see us.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
I mean, I have to say, we've been listening to your songs this morning, and there were just so many beautiful, amazing. Have you got one that's your absolute favourite, or is it hard to choose between them all?
Thank you for the compliment. It's hard to choose what's your favourite. I think, especially if you're in front of an audience, a song can become your favourite because of the audience reaction. But there's always a handful that I absolutely always will adore singing, and it's like Moving On Up, One Night in Heaven, Proud. You know, they're ones that Search for the Hero, they really connect with the audience, and they're so varied. So, you know, 1 minute, you know, it's kind of ballady, and then it's party. So it's the whole gamut. So for me, a show like at the Cathedral is just a beautiful showcase for the band and myself to do what we enjoy and take you through the whole gamut of feeling. Usually, I'm always looking for euphoria. By the time I've finished, I'm looking for euphoria.
I imagine with the acoustics in somewhere like Chester Cathedral, that's going to be quite something.
Really, really special. And sometimes, you know, it is, you know, because, you know, I'm a believer, and sometimes you go into these places and you think, should I be really singing secular music? But I think to myself, you know, it's a joyful sound, and everyone knows that I really have high regard for the space that I'm in, and I think if you can get people to gather and feel good and feel happy,
it
makes sense.
Though, isn't it?
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Is it true that people didn't believe it was your voice initially, Heather? They didn't think that a voice that big and that powerful could come from someone so petite?
Yeah, because I am only 5'4", much to people's real surprise, and I'm like a size 8.
Where did it come from?
So I think that. Maybe, like you said before, I think it is a gift, but I've honed the gift. And I think it's like anything. You know, you have some natural elements and natural talent, and you just mine it, you work on it, and you become good at it. But people used to think that it wasn't my voice because I didn't have any track record before. I just burst onto the scene, and so they didn't know where I came from. So people thought at first, is it just somebody in the studio doing that and she's the front? I always thought to myself, I think they'd choose somebody different for the front. But anyhow, I'm still here 30 years later, so yes, like I said, I've just mined it, completely mined it.
Talking of that voice, because one time you had to work quite hard to hide it, was on The Masked Singer, wasn't it, when you were Chandelier? I mean, I don't know how you did this, because when you've got a voice as distinctive as yours, to then hide it, because obviously they would have guessed who you were straight away, wouldn't they, otherwise?
Well, I did try and hide it, and I think that what they do on The Masked Singer, you do have a vocal coach, and I had a great one, and his name escapes me. I'm so sorry, oh Lord, you know. So I thought to myself that I'd worked really hard at dissembling what I did, and he helped me because he showed me that I sing in a certain kind of way. So the way that I use my mouth and, you know, the shapes that so he said to me, flatten your lips, flatten your tongue. It was all about trying to disguise it. But it was difficult because it took me 6 weeks.
Wow.
It took me 6 weeks of hard practice.
To break it down, to change what you usually
Were you worried you might not be able to get back to where you were before? Or that was
no, because that's so instinctive and natural, you know.
That's always going to be there.
And when they do the unveiling, they say to you, sing as you would naturally sing. So you just go for it, yeah.
Can we ask, because we've been talking about this morning, it looks like we're sort of heading towards a general election, Heather. A lot of your music gets used by politicians, whether you like it or not. They just have to clear it. And in the past, songs have been used and lyrics have been used by Boris Johnson.
Yeah, so he used Search for the Hero. He referenced the lyrics. Liz Truss famously used Moving On Up, didn't she? How do you feel about your songs being used in this way?
You know, music is universal, and it shows that even if you think people don't have hearts, that maybe they do when they choose.
So the only redeeming
I'm trying to go for it. You know, people ask me, you know, I think that, you know, it touches people in different ways. I think that, you know, some people have used it and it's been misguided because I don't subscribe to their ethos and their political aims. So, but I think, you know, I'm a black female working class from immigrant stock, and I think if they want to use the words that I've sung, I think all power to you. Do it.
OK, so you may be able to hearing quite a lot in the coming months because it looks like we're approaching a general election at some point this year.
Yeah, and I think that it's needed. I think, yeah.
Ready for change?
Well, I personally am ready for change, and I think a lot of people are, yeah.
And your son's a Labour councillor, so
He
I'm
is.
sure he's probably feeling that way as well.
Oh, I'm sure he's ready for change.
But one moment you must be proud of is the fact that Oprah Winfrey used "Proud," didn't she, as her, you know, as her theme tune, which is an amazing thing.
Yeah, she had, I think it was her 30 years or 25 years in the business, and she asked me if I'd come along and sing "Proud." One of her aides had heard it at a Keep Fit class that she went to. It was a motivational, the last song that they played, it was motivational. And she said, do you know what, I think they'd love this. And I give it to them because they listened to the young aide. And,
amazing.
you know, then they had me on.
So from Zumba to Oprah.
There you go.
It goes
Yeah, to the biggest loser.
Not for a minute, Heather. It's lovely to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks so much.
Good luck with that concert. So it's February the 16th at Chester Cathedral. It's going to be really special.
Quite something, won't it? Thank you.